All right, everybody. We're here today to talk about Unesh, the Crazy Cat Lady. This is a deck I've been working on for a couple of days. It's ridiculous. It's so much fun, and it's fairly competitive. This is at its heart. It's an Aketra's Monument deck um, that floods the board to buy us time. So, if you're familiar with Oketra's Monument, it means that your white creatures cost one less to cast, and whenever you cast a creature spell, regardless of its color, you make a 1/1 white warrior creature token with vigilance. So we've got a few ways to stall the board to get to our fun late game. Got Anointer Priest, which is a 1/3. Whenever a token enters the battlefield under our control, we gain a life. We've got Aviary Mechanic, which can return itself for 1 mana with Oketra's Monument. Not itself, but another Aviary Mechanic to make as many 1/1s as you have white mana. We've got Inspiring Cleric, which is a powerful new addition to combat the aggro decks. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 4 life. And one of my favorite new additions for the Oketra style decks is Legion Conquistador. So when you play this, it's just a 2/2 for 3, but when it enters the battlefield, you can search your library for any number of these that are left in your deck. So this is often just a, play this, draw 3 cards, and it really helps us continue to go off with Oketra's Monument. Because if you don't have creatures in play, it doesn't do a lot. We also have a Sailor of Means, which is just a sort of a beefy blocker on the ground, but it also ramps us 1 mana and fixes our mana. The deck really does need to get to 6 to cast Unesh, and so this helps us do that. And then we've got Cloud Blazer. Fantastic card. It's even better when it only costs 4 mana. Even better when it only costs 2 mana. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life and you draw 2 cards. So this is keeping us alive. It's a threat in the air, and it's drawing us into our combo. And we also have a Regal Caracal, which gives other cats you control +1/+1, and they all have a lifelink. And then when it enters the battlefield, it makes 2 1/1 white cat creature tokens with lifelink. So again, we're stalling the board, we're making tokens, we're staying alive until we can cast Unesh. So Unesh is a 6 mana 4/4 flyer. So on the surface, not very exciting. But it says that Sphinx spells you cast cost 2 less. Okay, so and then also whenever Unesh or another Sphinx enters the battlefield under our control, we reveal the top 4 cards of our library. The opponent separates those into 2 piles, and then we get to pick one of those piles to put into our hand, and the rest go to our graveyard. Now, where this starts to be a lot of fun, and where the ridiculousness starts, is when we throw in Arcane Adaptation into the mix. So Arcane Adaptation says when it enters the battlefield, you choose a creature type. And then once you choose that type, all creatures that you control are that chosen type, in addition to their other types. But they're also, it's the same is true for creature spells we control, and for creature cards that we own that aren't yet on the battlefield. So, if you haven't figured it out yet, it becomes literally insane. So with, say like with an Arcane Adaptation and a Unesh out, and a Monument, I know we're talking a 3-card combo here now. Cloud Blazer costs 2, costs a blue and a white. It ETBs, you draw 2, gain 2, and then separate into 2 piles. And then you pick 2 of those. But before that even happens, Oketra's Monument triggers, makes a 1/1 white warrior Sphinx, which also triggers Unesh, and so you just draw an insane amount of cards. Insane. In fact, you draw so many cards that you will deck yourself if Unesh lives more than, say, a turn. Which is why we have a perpetual timepiece in the deck. Because after a few games of the deck, I realized that I was at severe risk of decking myself constantly. after Unesh came down, so we needed some way to prevent that from happening, so I can at least have a turn or two to kill them after I sort of go off. So, that being said, Aviary Mechanic is also a way to get Unesh off the board if you have drawn your deck and you're about to deck yourself. So just keep that in mind. This is Aviary Mechanic is probably the most useful card in the deck once everything gets moving. It allows you to bounce interesting creatures. You can bounce your Arcane Adaptation and rename, like recast it as cats, and then everything in your deck or everything on the battlefield is a cat, so it gets +1/+1 and has lifelink. Like I said, this deck is just total nonsense. It's so much fun, and it doesn't cost anything. It's like 4 tickets right now. Okay, so let's look at the sideboard. The sideboard is an additional Aviary Mechanic for the matchups where you think you might need to be bouncing things back to your hand. 4 Fairground Wardens for decks that are creature-based but don't have a lot of interaction. We've got the 4th Inspiring Cleric for all the Ramanap red matchups that you're going to be facing. We've got another Sailor of Means if you're just needing a bigger blockers on the ground and needing to get to that 6 mana. 4 Negate and 4 Cancel. Now I want to talk about Cancel because Cancel should really be Siren Storm Tamer. It's the 1 blue mana, 1/1 flying Siren Pirate Wizard. And you can pay a blue to sacrifice it and counter a spell that targets a permanent or a creature you control. And that's what I wanted this to be instead of Cancel. But right now, for some reason, that is an uncommon from Ixalan, which just released yesterday online, and it's like $1.68. So for our budget purposes, we're gonna go with Cancel. So this deck is ridiculous. I highly encourage you to watch the videos because they will also probably be ridiculous. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about the mana base. We've got 4 Evolving Wilds, 4 Meandering River. We have 9 Plains because we do want to be doing things like casting multiple Caracals once Sphinx is out and so on, and then 7 Islands. I'm not sure this is entirely correct. I could see 6 and 10 in terms of the breakdown. But yeah. Alright, well that's it. That's the Unesh the Crazy Cat Lady. Let's see what the games are like.